couple of months ago, I started, the process for Pocket Gamer and like what I was going to talk about. And at the time, it was November 2017. At the time, something happened. I'm going to cover it, but things have changed so much in the past couple of months that I needed to add another topic. So that other topic is why Fortnite thrived past loot boxes. I think those two things go hand in hand together, and they show kind of where the market is going. So you kind of get two presentations in 15 minutes. You're welcome. So who am I? My name is Jeremy Horn. I've had the luxury of working at great companies like Ubisoft, Gameloft, Tinyco, and now I'm a vice president of strategy at Jam City. You may know of us because we recently released a Harry Potter game. I worked on it for a very long time, and I'm very proud of it. Please download it, try it, it's great. But all those companies, I've only done mobile. All my life, the past basically 10 years, I've only done mobile, and I've only done free-to-play. Little disclaimer, those are my opinions, they do not reflect the opinions of Jam City. I mean, wow, 2018 seems that we're finally going to take the majority of the pie of revenue in the video game industry, close to 51%, which is fantastic, right? But last November 2017, something happened. You can cue the entire song right now. Battlefront 2. I mean, everybody remembers that, right? Craziness happened. All the blogs were writing about it. The users were so mad. It was the most downvoted Reddit thread of all time. I mean, what a disaster. People were so pissed off, right? And honestly, I agree. I think it was a horrible strategy. It was so bad that even politicians got into it. I mean, they were saying that loot boxes were preying on children, that it was gambling, that it should be banned, that there should be an alert on the boxes saying, careful, there's a loot box inside. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty wild. And it was not just wild in the United States, it was wild around the world. I mean, in France, in the UK, in Europe, Belgium, Netherlands, Belgium started to push bills to say that it was gambling, that it should be totally and absolutely banned. I'm European, as you can hear, obviously. Yeah, it's like, EA got choked by the false grip at that time, and they could do nothing but back out of the situation. So they said, we got it wrong. We're removing, the loot boxes as a paid option. They're still gonna be in the game, but now it's all free. Don't worry, we're so sorry. We vow to be better. Wow, we basically just, avoided a disaster. Thank God loot boxes will never come back on PC. They'll never come back on console. It's over. It's a thing of the past. It's a thing for shitty free-to-play mobile game. Us gamers will fine. But May 2018, like a lot of things happened, but that's EA stock. I mean, you can see the drop, right? November, December of last year, $3 billion just slashed. But today, I mean, I bought some stock at that time, and I'm pretty happy today, to be honest. They've added close to $10 more than last year's best performance. Fantastic. And remember when they said, we vow to be better, we'll never do it again. A couple months later, they said, we're pushing forward. It's great. There's going to be no mobile games. I mean, I don't blame them. And the legislative disaster, none of the bills really moved forward. Nothing happened. A lot of politicians used, I think, that type of situation for kind of press, kind of garnering a lot of the attention. In the EU, especially UK, they said, no, loot boxes are not gambling. Netherlands actually did a full review of loot boxes. They banned 4 out of 10. And here's the trick, is that they only ban loot boxes with items inside of them that have direct monetary value and can be transferred to other sites. This is bolded and underlined as a reason why. And in Belgium, and I love Belgian people, I've actually studied in Belgium, but nothing happened, and I suspect that nothing will ever happen. But something did happen, not a bill, not a law, just a guideline that changed. Is that Apple said, moving forward, loot boxes need to disclose odds. So here's the exact language. Apps offering loot boxes or other mechanisms that provide randomized virtual items for purchase must disclose the odds of receiving each type of items to customers prior to purchase. I'm going to highlight one of the term, which is type of items, not items, type of items. That's very important as of now. But honestly, even without what happened with Star Wars, this would have happened nonetheless. And why? It's because China is becoming, or is, the biggest market in the world, and they have laws as of today that forces developers to disclose the rarity types on the website or in the game. And so for Apple to just align with what's happening in China, it's not surprising, and it had the added advantage of the time that it kind of like alleviated some of the backlash. So here's really the only thing that changes, that now in your game, if you have loot boxes, you need to disclose the drop rates. But you don't need to disclose the items within that box. You just need to say 5-star, 5%, 4-star, 58%, yada yada. But within that group, you don't need to say the flame sword, that is a 5-star, is actually a lower rate than another card within that rarity type. That's kind of a tricky situation. But as of now, let's face it, it works really well. Players actually enjoy it. It works financially. Businesses will not stop something that is successful. So it's going to remain in free-to-play mobile games for the foreseeable future. What's going to happen, however, is that the language is going to improve. I think Google and Apple are going to further align with the Chinese laws, so much so that they're going to disclose each item. Actually, there's a law that passed really recently in China that has them disclose the items themselves, which I think is great. I'm always in favor of transparency for users. But I think there's one thing that is changing, even outside of the scandal, is just that UA costs have been on the rise so much that now acquiring those users, plus the rise of competitive mobile games such as Fortnite, such as PUBG, such as Clash Royale, is going to move mobile revenue from relying on scarcity and randomness to relying on retention features. And I'm going to talk about that a little more later. I know downstairs, blockchain is all the rage. Blockchain everything. Blockchain my bread, blockchain my blah, 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 blockchain my video game. Here's the trick. Remember when I said that you can't transfer an item that you acquired from a loot box and that has monetary value? This is going to block a lot of those economy blockchains. Sure, we're going to see games on PC that are going to allow that type of economy, but on mobile, it's going to be much harder, and I doubt we're going to see blockchains succeeding in mobile games anytime soon. You may disagree, we'll talk about it later, that's my contrarian view. So I do have a couple of predictions. The first one is that we're going to see new ways of monetizing. One of them is going to be allowing players to modify via an IAP item the drop rates and the drop rate of probabilities within each category. So you're going to be able to become a subscriber of the game and add a 10% chance for 5-star loot boxes items, for example. We're going to no longer see boxes like a chest, a box. Just because people got used to it, the term loot boxes became so controversial, we're going to move really away from that, and we're going to see more and more new features that essentially act like a loot box, but they're going to give back a sense of control to the player. So it's going to be things like, pick one of those 9 cards. The chances will be in favor of the user, I believe, but that's going to remove that fear that you're not guaranteed anything out of the box. We're going to return of scratcher mechanics, anything that adds back interactivity to the boxes. And finally, we're going to see more and more in competitive mobile games, kind of like those time-limited use of characters. Same thing as League of Legends. On Monday, that character is free to try, but on Tuesday, you have to buy him. I think we're going to see that more and more. So doing loot box right today. Single-player games, like a casual game, we'll see a lot of optimization on the presentation, etc., but they're not going to be affected too much by regulations and by overall user behavior. What's going to change really is competitive games. So competitive games have, for me, kind of like 4 elements. The first one is gameplay balance, is that players need to feel that they're on a level field with each other, that nobody can pay to win. it needs to have competition, it needs to have a community, and it needs to appeal to spectators. My advice to you is only apply loot boxes to that incentivize playing. I think, as Angelo said, retention is the other metric that is important in LTV. I think now it's the most important over revenue. Revenue, you can generate it over time. If your retention is bad, you'll never be able to generate that revenue anyway. So retention is a more important metric than conversion on the long term. Do not make loot boxes that break balance. So obviously there's a test case, Fortnite. Who played the original Fortnite? The one? No? Oh man, I did. Wow, I'm shocked. Yeah, I mean, I've had friends who worked on it, but it was not great. It was a PvE game where you were building your fort, and you were getting currencies to open a loot box, those llamas. I mean, that UI is horrible, and actually this is only 4 of them. There were times where there were 6 llamas. And inside those llamas, you had items, and those items I think could break. Anyway, I played it for a week, and I was like, okay, I bought the game. I was good to my friends. Now it's over. It didn't do too well, right? So obviously we all know, how big Fortnite is, what a big success. But I think here's kind of a lot of the answers that we talked about moving away from loot boxes into retention features. So what's great about the Battle Pass is that it is accessible to any player. It's free. You just get a lot less rewards when you level up. But at any time, at any tier you've been at, you've leveled to, you can convert. It's only $10, and you're going to get retroactively all of the items that are on that Battle Pass. And that's great. That's great because it just incentivizes playing. It gives kind of some level of certainty in the conversion where you know that every player is going to spend at least $10. It's a subscription model, essentially, and I really like that. And here's even why it's even better, well thought than you may initially think. Sorry, I got confused by that picture. I'm very sensitive to my image. Is that it costs $9.50 V-Bucks, but the smallest package you can buy is 1,000. And do you know why? It's because you should never, ever, ever leave your user's premium currency wallet at 0. It's like if you have $1 in your pocket, you're going to feel like you should spend it. And in that case, people think that, hey, I've got 50, I'm going to play more, that's going to get me 150, and I'm going to buy something. And that's what you want. You always want to have them get some level of premium currency. So in your mobile games, I would advise to look into your user's wallet and make sure that nobody has a 0 as a premium currency. On the long term, this will actually yield higher revenue. And there's another option, which is, we're going to see mobile as well, it's fast-tracking your progression. So for $25, so more than double, you get the premium battle pass. There's an item, an additional skin, but also you jump 25 tiers. You just go faster. What's the reason? I think just people are in a hurry. They want to make sure that by the end of the season, at the end of that time-limited sequence, they get everything. And to get kind of a leg up, they're willing to pay more than double. Customization. I mean, a lot of games do it now, but I don't think they do it right. And here's why Fortnite is doing right. One, they're avoiding what is called decision paralysis. You don't want 50 items available for sale. You only want daily, a couple, 6, 7, 8, and there's 2 of them that are featured extensively. I think you need to cull down what you're offering to your players and only offer customization options that are limited every day. One more thing, Fortnite can do it because you see your opponents, you see what they're doing very closely. If your game does not allow for that, I've seen a lot of games just putting customization feature, but your characters are teeny tiny from a top-down view and you only see their head. Don't do it. There's no point. You're not going to see conversion on that. Fortnite works because it's a AAA game. Kind of last thoughts is that randomized drops are a mainstay of free-to-play mobile games, and they will remain staple for the foreseeable future. The guidelines from Apple and Google will become more detailed over time in favor of the end user. Revenue impact can be mitigated by you guys by new features that favor retention and LTV over short-term conversion. and that the reality is that the time to recoup your CPI will get longer and longer. So I think now we should look at releasing a game and looking at your CPI and the recouping time and making a profit over 2 years, which I think is conservative. And that's it. Thank you so much. It was great. And I'll be outside if you want to chat. Thank you. Oh yeah, and I have a question.
Yeah, well, one of the slots later on is going to, unfortunately, the speakers had to pull out, so we're going to give give a couple of the panels a little bit extra time, so we can afford to go a little bit longer. Sure. If people have got questions, and I'm going to chuck at you, the blockchain comment you made earlier on, which you're basically right, obviously. The only caveat to that, I would say, is if you didn't see before, we were talking about the side effects of the legislation, particularly with the Netherlands. And actually, I think it applies to the UK as well, which is the idea if you're reselling items within those loot boxes. And that's obviously the item you stated was that that would impact on the blockchain people, which you basically are right about. However, what that means to me is those organisations which are looking to do resale of digital assets, which is fundamentally where I think the argument is, those organisations, I think the remedy for them is actually pretty straightforward, which is they've got to get licensed. And whether they get licensed as gambling organisations or get licensed in some form with financial services authorities, which is something which we've looked at before. I remember back in the days of Sony, for example, we were working with a team that worked with the station guys to resell EverQuest assets. It can be done, I would argue. Sure. So my question really is it the end of it, or is it just it becomes a higher burden?
So everything can be done, right? Yeah. But will most developers want to become certified as a gambling organization? Will they want to go through a financial organization internationally? I mean, yeah, maybe you can do it. I don't think that there's a ton of people that have the type of pocket change that will be needed to do that. And once again, you would have trouble being featured and present or even authorized on the biggest players like Apple and Google. And that's the challenge. We're all struggling to get installs. So adding the struggle of not even being sure that you're going to be allowed on the App Store or the Google Play Store, it's going to be very difficult. But yes, in general, I agree it's possible. I think we're going to see it in PC. I just think for mobile, because of the way apps are distributed, we're not going to see it. And if you want a real life example of that, there's a company I love called Gamblet. They're a casino game company. It took forever and ever for them to get authorized on the floor of the casinos in Vegas, like years and years and years. So yes, it's possible, but
Well, there are a couple of examples where real money betting on performance has happened. So Cash Play and a couple of other organisations have done it, which would allow them to sort of effectively mitigate that. But anyway, I'm going far too long on that particular topic, and I'm taking time away from other people who want to ask questions. So anyone else want to ask a question, and I'll come round. Is it going to be another? Why use Unity type question?
It's another incendiary question.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, so you worked on the Harry Potter AR game?
No,
and so,
not
no?
Not the AR game. That's another company.
Oh, well, so I'll just ask about it anyway. So what do you think? What is it? There's like some monster who's choking a kid, and then you pay $5 to stop him or something. That's been a controversy lately. I thought maybe you'd have something to say about that.
I was not on that team at that time, so while I am part of the organization, I do not work on it, so I can't really answer, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Any questions? Just right through.
You mentioned retention features a lot, and you specifically mentioned multiplayer games. Do you think that all mobile games should go forward with multiplayer features, or is there a possible way to have retention with single-player experiences?
No, I think my point was more that loot boxes regulation and changes are going to affect competitive social games. I don't think that single-player games like a Match 3 are going to be affected much, just because it doesn't break the balance of the game. You're not playing against anybody most of the time. You just play for your own fun and relaxation. No, I mean, we're still going to see a ton of single-player games. I think it's just the reality of who most of the customers and the users are on mobile. A lot of people, they don't want that competitiveness. They want to just like relax and have a good time on the train. do a little level, and then move on to something else. So yeah, we're going to see mobile competition rise because of technology. We're at the right time of like your carrier allow for like more data transfer. The technology is stronger. We're going to see more of that, and all the digital natives, the younger people that have been used to mobile phones, are getting accustomed to it. But we're still going to see the same casual games and slow experiences.
Well, it's interesting. Some work I was doing previously looked at the rise of using asynchronous multiplayer as a method, which is a really interesting way of applying relatively single-player games and making them feel multiplayer. And it was interesting how much impact that had on revenue. Particularly if you look at, although Golf Clash is real-time multiplayer, if you look at the Golf Clash model, we've seen games I can't mention that have used a similar model to asynchronous play, having a very significant impact on their bottom line revenues. So I think what you said about single player is right. It's still valid in itself, and most of this change is going to affect in competitive play. It is also interesting, I think, when you look at the use of asynchronous modes to play, how that can increase reach and also revenue.
Cool.
Cool. One more question up here, and then we'll move on to the panel.
You mentioned subscription as a future possibility to increase the odds of a user getting like rare items, for example. Is anyone doing this yet?
Yeah.
And that's great. So the follow-up question is, what sort of subscription? Is this a paid subscription? Is this you receive information, frequently through email and there's no paid aspect to it?
So there's a game called Wild Dragons done by Pocket Games. Wonderful company, wonderful game, and they do have a subscription feature, and you just become a subscriber of the game, so you pay for a week, a month, a year, and you just essentially fast track your progress. I really like that model. I think it creates that feeling of community, creates that feeling of being a VIP, being part of something. So yeah, they're doing it. I don't have data obviously, but I think it's doing pretty well. When it comes to like non-paid, I haven't seen it, but I like it. So I think we should all think about it. I think it's a great idea.
I mean, one of the key things I worked out with subscription, because it's a model I've looked at a lot, is you don't want to let people subscribe to the whole game. It's key aspects within the game which add specific long-term value and have long-term utility to it. If you end up, a lot of people try to do full subscription game package offerings, and they generally fail because they can't monetize at the same level that a free-to-play game. They don't scale.
Correct. It fast tracks your progress. We're going to just go faster, but hopefully people will still convert. Yeah.
And on that note, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So I'm going to invite Robert to come up and have his panel.